Perfect. So, hi everyone, those who are watching, hello. So, let's see what we're going to be doing today. So, we're going to be extending on our users app that we had created yesterday. So, this app, we mainly just implemented the Firebase component of it, so the backend component of it. The front end is relatively simple, and if you click, nothing happens. Also, there's no scroll feature here. So we're going to take care of all that, and we're going to make those changes now. And so two main things we're going to focus on is one, when you click on this, it should take you to a user's page, right? And the second one is you'll get these beautiful animations that are very easy to implement, something called hero animations, which when you go from one screen to another, the common elements, you can animate them. So we'll go over everything, and so let's see how we do it. So first thing is, let us implement the scroll part of it. So yes, so if you aren't familiar with this project, be sure to see the video of when we implemented this, like the users app, how we reached this step. So that video is on YouTube. It's on our DSC LSU channel. You can just search the users app, and it is Flutter speed code number 2. Perfect. So now, one thing is that our screen builder, it returned a column of these user widgets. So in order to implement the scroll part of it, all we have to do is just return a list view, hot reload. Oh, and seems like there are some. Oh, I think let us restart the app. I touched this here. Maybe that must have messed something up. Let's see. Oh no, it doesn't work. So let's see what's the thing. So we'll give it one more try. I'm also new to list view, so if it doesn't work, then we'll implement that part later. I think let's just leave it as column, and let us implement the parts that we are confident with. So as I said, I'm also new to this whole thing. So here's the thing. Now, when we click on this, it should take us to a new screen. So that part is straightforward. Let us create a new screen. Let us call this user screen. So there's home screen, this is user screen. So in the user screen, we'll have a stateless widget. Let's call it stateless widget called user screen. Import the necessary stuff. Here we must have final string root name, which says user. So we'll see what this is. So the thing is, users. Let's do. Sure, let's do this. So the thing is, we have to specify certain things called root names for each screen, and why that is we'll see it later. But first, let us give a root name to each of this. So our home screen will get the root of just a slash, and the user screen will get a slash and users. Now this is very similar to web development, where this refers to the home screen, right, the home page, and this refers to a page with the path /users. So what we have to do is, within our main.dart, here when we return a material app, here's what we'll have to do. We have to do roots, and let's just documentation, yes, map of string, perfect. So now here for home screen dot root name, or let's make those static so we can access it outside. Home screen dot oh, home screen state. Oh, okay, placed in the wrong place. We have to place it here. this home screen stateful widget. Now we can access it from outside root name, and for this we will give it context, and this will run home screen. So we are basically saying that if the root name, which is just a /, if we get that root, then you have to direct us to the home screen. Home screen is this basically. The second thing will say user screen dot root name. So if we get in the user screen, then we'll have to do user screen. Perfect. And instead of writing home, if we do initial route is equal to home screen dot root name. So what happens is when the app starts, it checks, okay, these are all the list of routes that we have. Then it checks what's the initial route. So which route should I start with? So then when you specify the home screen dot route, it says, oh, that I got home screen dot route. So what screen is that linked with? Oh, it's linked with home screen. So load the home screen. That's the way everything happens. Let's just give a hot restart. Perfect, everything restarts now. Now, the next thing we'll want to implement is when you click on this, something should happen. So let us, this user card, let us go into user cards, the code for user card. So if you notice here, this card, here, if it has an on pressed, it doesn't have an on pressed, not a problem. Let us wrap this with a flat button, and we'll see what that does. It exposes this thing called on pressed, which will have as a function, like a variable, like a function variable. Here we'll have on pressed, added to the constructor, this dot on pressed. And now let's actually make this on pressed as required. So this is an annotation that we're going to write, required on pressed user screen. Perfect. So now if we, let's give it a hot reload. So you notice this, let us padding, let's give it 0, hot reload. Perfect. So we got what we wanted, but okay, we have passed on pressed. So perfect. Let's see what will happen. I see. So let us pass an on pressed, since on pressed is required here. So when on pressed is called, let's do navigator dot push named, and here it passes a context, which is just context. And for route name, we want to go to the user screen dot route name. Oh, pass this within a anonymous method. Now we should get this like a ripple effect with some problem. Okay, let's add a semicolon here. Hot reload. Oh, user screen is not done so far. Let us have a scaffold. Sure, let's have a scaffold that has an app bar that says, for the title it has a text that says, let's just say user screen. We'll change this, of course. Hot reload. So this is how to do a multi-screen thing. One thing is, which doesn't look good, is we want to get that ripple effect on top. Now let us see if, so I'm also new to this and I don't think I'll be able to figure that out. That seems, Best thing is Google. So how to add a ripple effect to card on pressed Flutter. Hopefully there's something. Best thing is then Flutter card on pressed on tap. Oh, okay, then there must be a property for this card called on tap. No, there isn't. All right, let us see. How do you make a card clickable? With this way, with this gesture detector, let's try what they've said. A new gesture detector. So instead of wrapping it with a flat button, let's wrap it with a gesture detector, and then you get this on tap. Padding is not needed. With a hot reload. Let's see what it does. Oh, it doesn't even give the ripple effect. Actually, we don't need a ripple effect. It doesn't. The ripple effect didn't look good, so we won't. We'll wrap it with a gesture detector instead of a flat button. So we have this so far. So now the good thing is we have finished. Like I've implemented this multi-screen thing. When you click on this, it'll take you to a new screen. Now there are some things we have to note is we have to transfer this information of what item we have clicked to the next screen. Let's see how we do that. So home screen dot pushed name. For this arguments, now here let us have something called models. Now here let's create a model called user. So class user. Let's add some fields: string name, string tagline, string image URL. For now, we'll just keep these. Constructor, we need a constructor. Fine. We have this thing here. So in Flutter, to make things private, you have to do this. Actually, let us leave it as it is. Let's call this final. Will that work? All right, that'll work. Let's leave it as final. We have this. Perfect. Let me just have some sip of water. Perfect. 8:20. We are going quite fast. That's very nice. So now we have created this user thing, this user model. Now the next thing is in our home screen, we'll have to pass this user to the next screen. So if you see here, when anything is clicked, you have to pass that to the next screen. So let's see how we do that. Here, actually we'll make many changes now. So let's see how we do that. User, let's import this. Import library is equal to user. For name, we'll do this. Name. For tagline, then one for image URL. Yes. User.data. We can't have the same name. So let's call this user. Let's call this Firebase user. F user. Let's just name it as F user. shift F6, F user. Fuser, that doesn't sound proper. Like basically this user part of it is the Firebase user. So what is it? Let's let's just have a long name. Sure, Firebase user, Control Alt L, and not U user. Let's call this just user. Or an even better way is to call this just user object. Perfect. Control Alt L. All right, now we have this thing here. Now for a user card, let us actually just pass in user, and let's pass in the user that we have, user object. Now, as you know, it doesn't take a user, so we have to update the code here. So this will actually just have final user, and yeah, I have to update quite a bit here. This dot user. And this also let's make it as required. Import the class. We want on pressed. We don't want these three. Actually, yeah, we don't want these three. All right, now we have this. Now there's some stuff if like for image URL, let's do user.image URL. For name, let's do user.name. For tagline, let's do user.tagline. So we made a good change that a user card doesn't take in many fields now. It just takes in one field called user of this user model type. So now in the home screen, user object, comma. Now for the arguments, we'll pass our user object. Control Alt L. So when we parse, let's see if everything works. So basically when we parse the list of users from Firebase, what we do is, oh, it doesn't look like the image URL is working. We'll fix that. Oh, everything is named. So let's make this tagline. Let's name this image URL. So basically what's happening is we parse the list of users coming in from Firebase. Then what we do is we create this user object. This user object of this model user class that we have. And we pass name, tagline, image URL by parsing it from the response. So yes, I assume you have seen the previous video, so you know this code. So we parse it. Same code as before, but we just created this user object. Now in the user card, we pass this user object that we just created. And in the navigator.push name is basically like an intent. And then you say start activity, right, in Android. So here you are passing this user object as an argument. So now this user card, let me refer to the code. What was this one? So in one of the previous apps, I've implemented this. Let me just remember how I did it. So I got a lot of help in like these apps. So that's the way. I'm also new to this, so let me read it. There was an input page, there was a results page. Input page, navigator.push name, we passed an argument. Then the results page, how do we get that argument? Oh yes, here. Model root.off context.settings.arguments. All right, so this is the way. So in our user screen, we will have final user is equal to model context of the model root. Maybe we have to import something. Right, mistyping. Oh, mod L, AL. Dot of context dot settings or arguments. Some stuff is not working here. Let's see what it means. Oh, root within the build. I see. Let's write this code within the build. So we get this context variable, right? This context variable. But do we really want it within build? Can we root with it in it? This is a stateless widget. Let's convert it to stateful widget. Then we get access to this init method, init state. Let's see if this line of code can work there. Good, this works here. So now let us see if this will work. Yes, it doesn't work. So we can't make it final. Let's remove the final. So user, we take it from here. And now to test if everything's working, let us do user.name. So let's give it a hot reload. All right, let's see what's the problem. So let us try putting this up. Maybe will that help? So I'm just going to keep messing with this until we get something that works. No, so let's try it in the, putting it in the build. Control S. All right, so in the build it works. So looks like we don't get, like we're not able to access this. Actually, there's a line of code for this too. In one of the app I've written this. Let me just think. BMI. There was some very good line of code there. Tracker. I think it's this one. So in the init state, there was a way on how to. Yes, this is the one. Let's take this. So widget binding.instance.add post frame callback. Let's do this. Widget binding dot instance. All right, so it imported instance dot add post frame callback or a timestamp, and now here's the frame callback. So within the callback, what we want to do is here we want to include this line of code. Let's see if this will work. Because calling it within build is always called multiple times. Like it has a chance of being called multiple times. So this says that after the widget is built, this also may not work actually, but doesn't hurt to give it a try. So let's wait. Let me increase the font size. I think I didn't increase it today. So usually I keep this at 14. Editor font at maybe 18. Let's see, 18. Sure, let's leave it at this. Now let's see if this works. Yeah, that won't work. None. Yeah, yes. So looks like, all right, then for now, I guess this line of code has to go within here. All right. So now it'll surely work. Samuel, right? You click on one, then go to this. But now let's do the cool stuff and let us modify this user screen. So now it just has this app bar text, that's fine. But now let's make it a little more cool. So app bar, that's fine. Next, let's add a body. Body will be let us add a column. Children, with children first will be an image. With an image will be a network image. User dot image URL. Let's run this. Good. Okay, that works. So that's very good. Let's add a height property of 50. Control S. Ooh, it's too small. 300. Too big. 150. Let's add. I think 150 seems perfect. And now within a column, you have to add cross-axis center. So that will center it like horizontally. Unless I've done something wrong. Let's check in the Flutter inspector. Oh, no. So let's add this as stretch. Okay, stretch worked. That's good. Stretch worked in the center, and let's see how will this fare. Will it get distorted? What will happen? Let's just specify one dimension. Cool. Image. Now next, after image, we want a sized box, and within our constants, actually, let us have let's add a constants file. (8:33), we're doing good on time. For constants, let's add a const double k small margin. Let's add a small margin of 10. Const double k large margin 20. We can change this whenever we want. The good thing of having it as a constant is you can just change it in one place and it updates across the entire app. So you have one proper theme that you can implement on the entire app. Sized box, height, k large margin, and then text. Let's add a user.name. Some error. User.name, good stretch. We can do stretch, and then we'll have to center everything, which is a little bit of pain actually. All right, now this doesn't look good, of course, but we'll style this text style. Actually, let me Google search. So I always want you to know this: how to add material text style to text Flutter. Headline. In Android, there's a way how to do it. Ah, yes, this is the one. Good. So theme.offcontext.texttheme.headline6. Good. So this will help us quite a lot. That is because we're going to use material styles, which is material styles are made by Google, and so the advanced people there at Google, they know how things should look. So I mean, how, like, what looks beautiful. So let us do theme.offContext.headline. Will it work? Okay, what's it? text theme. Text theme dot. Wow, this is good. Will it work? Okay, it's an error. It's funny. There was no error, but it's wow. Wow. So let's see what suits best for us. 4 seemed perfect. And then we'll have to change the color of this. And also in constants, const double k extra large margin, or let's do k large margin 1. That's like 30. And within our user screen 1. Actually, large margin only was correct. These small adjustments we can make, of course, over time. Now child, next within the center widget, next text. Text, what text will I get? User dot tagline. Style theme dot off context dot text theme dot. There's something called subtitle one. Let's see how that'll look. Nice. So let's wrap this within a center widget. Nice. A sized box between this. Height k small, comma small. Nice. So we need to make something look a little better. Let us add a padding or a margin to the top. And it's just all. Wait, what did I do? Here, let's make this as k large margin. Remove the const keyword. Yes, this somewhat seems a little better. So let's stick with this for now. Nice. All right, so we have something that looks fairly good. Now, if you notice here, something is common. This, and this. Right? This, and this. They're there everywhere. So now we'll come to a second part of what we plan. Is something called hero animations. So whenever there's something common between two screens, we can do this shared element transition, which is in Android. The equivalent of Android thing here in Flutter is called hero animations. So doing it is way more easier than this user card. So let's see. Let us wrap this text. For now, let us actually not text. For now, let's just wrap the image. Image, network image. Let me see if this changes the layout here. Nice. Now it looks much more better. Everything's in one line. That looks way better. You see in the inspector, you have a nice, beautiful line here. Now there's something we have to do. Let us wrap this image, something called a hero. Hero requires a tag. What's a tag? Tag is a string. Tag is an object. So I think let's have it a string. Let's call this in a constants file, const string image tag. You see what we're doing here? We're creating these tags for each of these common elements. Tagline. Tagline tag seems repetitive, but that's the way it is. User card. Tag is key. Image tag. Oh, all constants in Flutter start with a key. And then it's the camel keys. User card. Tag. I have to do an import. Let's import it. Good. Now we have wrapped it within a hero. Now all you have to do is within our next screen. So from this screen, home screen, right? We go to the user screen. So wrap that also within a hero and give it the same tag. It's that easy. Image tag. Now if everything is done correctly, it should work. All right, so we did some mistake. So now I have to actually Google because I've never faced this problem and I know what this problem is, but I have no clue how to fix it. So what's happening is let's restart the app, a hot restart. So what's happening is each of these cards, they have an image. Each of these images have a tag. Unfortunately, the tag is the same. So that's why it's giving a problem. Is that why it's giving a problem? Best is, let's see this. Objects, hero tag, list of objects, hero tag, Flutter. Let's see. In dynamic list, sure. Let's see in dynamic list. Let's see. Exactly, this is what we wanted to implement. So let's see how. Okay, use a model ID name avatar. Sure. Main dot dart. Let's see here. Main widget. All right. We have to observe. This seems to be a list. All right, this is a list. Sure. All right. Hero tag avatar. Oh, so what they did, they just made the tag unique by adding something like an ID, which we can't do or maybe we can. Maybe we can. Let us observe. So in our home screen, when we extract, let's see what else do we have within our user. Let's see if we have something called an ID. Imagine user dot. So again, Google search Firebase, okay, Firestore, get ID of document Flutter. Document ID Firestore Flutter. Doc there. So maybe document ID. So this seems very dot documents. This may work. Let's Give it a try. Document. If it doesn't work, then we'll find another way. ID is a string. So you see ID saves the thing. Am I forgetting anything? So now in our hero, if everything works as planned, in our user card, we have a user here. For a hero tag, we'll have image tag plus user.id. So ID is unique now because it's not an ID that we give, it's an ID that Firebase gives. If everything works fine, we could proceed with, all right, this is even worse. It doesn't have document ID. So like this is the ID that we want to extract. How do we extract this? So let us dig deep into like, how do we get that? Let's read the code. Documents. That's good. Here's a problem. How do we get one simple way, which is I don't want to do it, is you can just add an ID field here and copy paste that. But that isn't really proper. It's not correct. How good one time 48, that's good. So once you finish that step, I'll figure out the ID part. Let me take a sip of water. So there's a way there, like they have shown here. After just scroll through these links, I find the snapshot. Yes, this might be what we want. Since you can have it from document object. Let us read this very carefully. This is exactly what you're doing. We're doing stream builder. A collection of snapshots. Let's use snapshot data map, which is not what we're doing. Map document. Everyone's seeing document ID. Why isn't it work? Oh, it's capital D. Hopefully this will work. It worked. It worked. So now if we, no, the animation didn't work. Or is it working? So if and do it in slow mode, okay, it's definitely not working. Let's see why. So ID here, user card. Oh, in our user screen, we have to have the same one. User.id. All right, so now is the moment of truth. Let us do a hot reload. I think hot reload won't work. Hot reload worked. All right, so now we implemented this beautiful hero animation with just hardly any lines of code. All we should do is just wrap it within this hero widget. You get this amazing transition here. Now in slow, it looks good. Let us check how you see this. It's just very quick, responsive, and beautiful thing. Now we can even wrap our title in this. Let's see how wrapping the title will work. It may not actually be very helpful for us. Like I'm saying, these two, we can wrap these two within a hero widget. Let's see what happens. So user.name, let's wrap this. Sure, we'll wrap this within a, that may not work, but let's just try. Let's go step by step. So tag is equal to k name tag plus user.id, and in our user, oh, that was on user screen. Good. So now a user here, user card. For our text, let's wrap this text within a hero widget. And then here we have the tag. The tag will be k name tag dot a plus user dot id. Control Alt L. So let's see if this works. I'm not sure if this will work. Something is not working. Yes. So what we can do is, to make it fine, let's not wrap this within. Let us delete this, remove this widget. Let's wrap only the text. Maybe that will help. What about the other names? Same problem? Yeah, that doesn't look good. So let's wrap the text with a hero. Maybe that can solve the problem. Tag is user.id, but before that, we need a k name tag. Let's see if this will help. No, it doesn't. So that red part, why is that happening? Why is that happening? Best is this Google search. Animations, text, red, text, Flutter. Has someone else also? Hero, yes, when animating. Many people have, okay, let's see what's the best answer, people. All right, this seems to be the answer. Let's see. Simplest way to overcome this obstacle is create the same complete text, same text style. Also possible to use the hero's fly shutter to wrap. All right, so to wrap. So all you have to do is build the same text style. So one thing you can do is in the user card for our text, right? For that style, let us do theme dot off dot context dot text theme dot headline 4. It may not look good. Control Alt L hot reload. It doesn't look good, but let's see if the red stuff. that doesn't come. So next is, let's see what if we do headline 3, right? What will happen? It's hard to see exactly what's happening, so slow mode. You know what we'll do? We will do headline 4. See what's in headline 4. Maybe this will work. So while returning back, it's causing some kind of problem. So if you notice in slow mode, yeah, but you can of course modify this to your liking, but we'll end this very soon. We'll even animate the third one. Let's see how it goes. 30 and font color, or just colors dot black, or black 45. Ooh, doesn't look good. Black 54, let's try that. Black 87, let's try that. This seems fine. Let us actually, we need some padding in our card. One thing I noticed is padding. That isn't working. Wrap it with a padding, a large padding. K large margin. Oof, small seems good. Alright, we may remove this, but for now let's just keep it in. Now, oh yes, now I have to wrap this also within a hero widget. Let us wrap this within a hero widget. Next is tag. For the tag, we need k tagline tag plus user dot id. Control Alt L. This is a subtitle. Same thing we'll do it here on the user screen. Actually, I want to remove this with it. I want to wrap this with the hero. Add this line here. Next is this, right? This subtitle 1. Wrap with widget hero and tag, but instead of name tag, what am I doing? Name tag, we'll need k tagline tag. Now, if everything is done correctly, let's close the slow mode. That doesn't animate well. So what we need to do is subtitle 1, right, for user screen. So in the user card, this style also will do. I mean, style is equal to theme dot off dot context dot text theme dot subtitle 1 Let's see if this will surely work well, very well. It doesn't look good. So dot copy width. Here we need font size 10. How will it look? Let's add a 15. So if this is font size is 20, so let us take about 17 maybe. It doesn't look good. 14. It seems that will be fine. Maybe we can make this with 22 or something. I think this seems good. Now, perfect. Now you have this beautiful animation here, and wow, the layout looks so dynamic. So let's see in slow mode on how beautiful it is. The text, it causes a little bit of problem, so we'll have to figure that out. How do we? But when it's fast, it still looks relatively fine. So we can go into the fine details later, but this is how it will look now. I want to tell you something. Yeah, so basically that's what we did. We created a new screen. We created this hero animation. And oh yes, I wanted to say is that also if you notice, it doesn't go in a straight line. So the picture doesn't go from here to here. You notice it takes this curve. So that's why it looks so dynamic and it looks like very engaging UI. And all we have to do is just wrap it within a hero widget and specify a unique tag. That's it. So this is some amazing stuff. We created a new screen and we did some very basic animations. Perfect. So this code will go on GitHub soon. And this is all we wanted to implement for today. Yeah, so about an hour and 3 minutes or so, a little less than an hour, I believe. Yes, so thank you for watching and have a great rest of the day. Perfect. Thank you. Stop the screen share and see ya.